Real prosperity. Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers. 3 John chapter 1 verse 2. In this verse, the apostle John is talking about souls prospering. He wishes above all things that the believer might be prosperous and in good health. But he puts a control on prospering, as he says that the good thing of prospering only comes as the soul prosper. This, of course, is a truism, because this is the way that the Apostle Paul would state on the basis of the knowledge of body, soul, and spirit. Among Paul's many revelations, he was given the truth of how the human was put together by the Lord. He learned from Christ that the human was saved only in spirit, and the soul is always in the process of being saved by the daily walk of the believer. The believer is already perfectly saved in spirit, and daily, as the believer learns in the Christ who is in us. This is the believer's spiritual growth, meaning the prospering of the soul. All spiritual growth is in the soul, because Christ in every believer is perfect. This is what John emphasized in this verse, that only as the soul prospers, there is prosperity in anything else, or even good health. Thus, the continual revelation of the Christ in us is the way this verse works. There are several things that the soul must prosper in. First, a believer who continues learning in the Lord prospers. It means that true believer will never stop in search to know and see Christ working in them in every event of life. Many believers start well, but when something comes along, they fall back into old and familiar patterns. Believers must be ongoing if they want to prosper. Of course, the Holy Spirit is always guiding and teaching in our daily walk. Second, a believer who wants to know all about the Father birthing His Son in us prospers, because our God birthing is the greatest thing that have ever happened to us. We are God's offspring, and such will show great interest in learning about the Father who birthed us. Also, the Father is proud of His offspring and will cause His own to prosper in all things. The more a believer learns about the Son in him and the Father that birthed him, the more the Father will bless him. It is a spiritual law. The prosperity of the Father comes to the believer who honors the birthing. Third, a believer who is coming into full stature prospers. Ephesians chapter 4 verse 13 gives a clear picture of how a believer comes to the prospering of the Father. Four things were said in this verse. First, when the believer comes into the unity of faith with other believers in like faith, then the blessings of the Father would come upon us. Second, when the knowledge of the Christ in the believer grows daily, realizing that this knowledge is endless, no one ever coming to the whole of it. The blessings of the Father will be daily. Third, the realization that the believer is the perfect man because Christ is our life will bring prosperity. Third, the full stature of Christ is the believer's ultimate goal in spiritual living. I really do believe that Christ in us is the only solution and answer to this lost, sick, and dying world. To God be the glory. God bless you.